Welcome back, everyone. In our last lecture, we introduced the basics of hypnotherapy, what it is, what happens in a session, and how it can be applied. Today, we're going to step back and explore the history and theories that shape our modern understanding of hypnosis. This part of our study is important because hypnosis has always been surrounded by controversy. Different thinkers, psychologists, neuroscientists, philosophers have disagreed on what exactly is happening when someone is hypnotized. Is it a special mental state? Is it just social role-playing? Is it a neurological shift? Or is it all of these at once? Let's trace these roots together. Early models of hypnosis. One of the most influential psychological models came from Ernest Hilgard, who developed what's called the neodissociation theory. Hilgard proposed that during hypnosis, the brain's executive control system splits into separate streams of activity. One stream is still aware of the environment. Another stream responds to hypnotic suggestions almost independently. This theory explains the famous hidden observer phenomenon. For example, someone under hypnosis might report feeling no pain while their arm is in ice water, but if asked to let a hidden observer speak, they may admit that another part of them still feels the pain. Hypnosis, then, is like dividing awareness into separate channels. Another theorist, Ernest Rossi, emphasized that hypnosis may align with the body's natural cycles of alertness and rest, what we call ultradian rhythms. He even suggested that hypnosis could influence processes at the genetic level, shaping how our body heals and adapts. From the perspective of Hippolyte Bernheim, however, hypnosis was not a unique state at all. He argued that hypnosis was really just an extension of suggestibility, something everyone experiences to some degree in everyday life. For Bernheim, there was no special hypnotic state, only the human ability to respond to suggestion when conditions are right. The ongoing debate, state versus non-state. This disagreement gave rise to what we call the state versus non-state debate. State theorists argue that hypnosis is a distinct and altered state of consciousness, different from both waking and sleeping. They point to brain imaging studies, changes in perception, and the unusual phenomena that occur under hypnosis, like analgesia or amnesia. Non-state theorists, on the other hand, believe hypnosis can be explained by ordinary psychological mechanisms: expectation, motivation, role-playing, and social influence. According to this view, hypnosis is not a separate state at all. It's simply people responding to the role they think a hypnotized person should play. This debate is still very much alive in research today. The interactional perspective. A newer way of thinking reframes hypnosis as an interactional process. In this view, hypnosis is not only about what's happening in the subject's mind, but about the relationship between the hypnotist and the subject. The hypnotic experience is co-created. The therapist uses verbal and nonverbal cues: eye contact, tone of voice, timing, posture. The client responds and adjusts, shaping the experience alongside the therapist. This approach aligns with the ideas of Milton Erickson, a psychiatrist who revolutionized hypnosis in the 20th century. Erickson introduced what we call the utilization approach. Instead of using rigid scripts or commands, he believed the hypnotic process should be tailored to each individual. He would use the client's own language, experiences, and even resistance as material for therapy. In Erickson's model, hypnosis is not about overpowering the client. It's about helping the client discover resources they already possess. Sociocognitive and social role models. Related to this is the sociocognitive perspective. Here, hypnosis is not an altered state, but rather a social performance based on beliefs and expectations. Psychologist T.X. Barber argued that hypnotic responses can happen simply because people expect them to. If you tell someone they are hypnotized and they believe it, they may begin to act in line with that belief. Theodore Sarbin went further with his role-playing theory. He said, hypnosis is like acting out a role in a play. The hypnotist is the director and the subject is the actor, but an actor who becomes deeply immersed in their role. The more engaged they are, the more authentic the hypnotic experience feels. These theories explain why stage hypnosis works so well. People are influenced by social cues, peer pressure, and expectations of what it means to be hypnotized. Reality testing view. Another perspective is the reality testing view. This theory suggests that hypnosis temporarily reduces a person's ability to distinguish between inner experience and external reality. For example, if the hypnotist suggests that your hand is numb, you may truly feel numbness even though you know logically that nothing has physically changed. In this state, the critical part of the mind, the part that normally says, "Wait a minute, this isn't real," becomes less active. Suggestions slip past without resistance, links to positive psychology. Finally, it's worth noting how hypnosis parallels positive psychology. Both emphasize the client's inner strengths and hidden capacities. Hypnosis doesn't give people something they lack. It helps them access what is already there: resilience, creativity, calm, healing. The therapist's role is not to control the client, but to structure suggestions skillfully and ethically, creating an environment where the client can use those inner strengths for change. Key takeaways. So, to summarize this lecture, hypnosis has been explained in many different ways, from Hilgard's neodissociation to Bernheim's suggestibility. The field remains divided between state and non-state perspectives. Newer interactional and sociocognitive models emphasize the relational and social context of hypnosis. Erickson's utilization approach highlighted personalization and client strengths. Across all these theories, hypnosis is understood as a complex, multifaceted experience, still not fully defined but rich in therapeutic potential. In our next lecture, we'll shift focus from the theories to the people themselves. We'll look at hypnotizability and individual differences, why some people are highly responsive to hypnosis while others barely respond at all, and how that affects clinical practice.